today's presentation, I talked about firm transformation in a post-pandemic world. And one of the things I tried to level set is, first and foremost, it's not about the pandemic. These transformations were happening well before. The pandemic may have accelerated that a little bit, but these things were coming at us no matter what before the pandemic even hit. A lot about the transformation is making sure we have the right steps in place to make the transformation successful. Then talking about the products that are being transformed, the new products being created coming out of this, and then what does this mean from a people perspective?
So this morning I was sharing some research that Praxity did around cybersecurity and what firms need to do to protect their own businesses as well as those of their clients. And one of the biggest threats we haven't really explored properly is what has happened to cybersecurity when people are working away from the office. We all know our offices' networks are beautifully protected, but what happens when I'm logging in from home, from my little router, maybe not so fast, maybe not fully encrypted? Am I giving, through my wireless printer, access to my company data? And so it was all about thinking about some of those risks and what we could do to mitigate against those risks.
The main area I'm focusing on is environmental and social governance, and how important this is now for small businesses, small and medium-sized businesses, because 99% of businesses are small and medium-sized, and unless they embrace these principles, we will not achieve the government's goal of getting to a net zero economy. But they need help, and they need help from practitioners, they need help from accounting firms. So my message is we need to be ready, because if we're not ready to help them, they're going to go somewhere else. So it's a huge opportunity for firms, but also it's the right thing to do, and we can make a real impact and a difference. But we've got to take the steps now.
The key things I've been talking about today have been around diversity, inclusion and equality. The reason it matters is we want to keep great talent, we want to attract great talent, and for accounting, it's all about the people. So that's the most important thing, to keep in mind what we need to do to ensure that we have a great culture and people who are proud to be part of our organisations.
And for me, it was about looking at digital change in a new way. We can always change our technology, we can change our practices, we can change our website, but no one thinks about changing us, the way we are, the way we go to market, the way we represent our business, both online and at events and in person.
They're also recognising that this is on the agenda. Staff and people want to work for organisations which have a sense of purpose. And also they're getting more pressure from financial institutions, from bigger entities which are pushing this through the supply chain. So there's going to be, very suddenly we feel, a massive demand for support around ESG and particularly environmental impact.
In the next 18 months, it's going to be interesting. Technology is moving at pace. There are new solutions, new problems to solve, new challenges in the market. But as we start to bring in new technology, as we start to address these ever-changing problems that accountancy firms are facing, we should never forget the people. And actually for me, I think as we've moved out of COVID and we've moved into this whole new way of working, people are going to be central to what we do.
I think when you're looking at the future, what's really encouraging about where we are today is there's a strong recognition that diversity matters in all its various guises. So you're seeing organisations taking action, you're seeing professional services firms actually doing things that go beyond a veneer of a programme, really taking day-to-day action. Tone at the top is the most important thing. Those organisations that really change the way they operate, have the senior leadership that understands the value of diversity, you're going to see them outperform the market.
So cybersecurity is a sort of increasing race, but I don't know whether it's to the top or the bottom, between company IT security specialists and hackers who are performing attacks. And I think it's just going to escalate. I don't think it's going to slow down anytime soon. In fact, we've seen, there's one of the pieces of research estimates that the cost of cybersecurity by 2025 is going to be $10.5 trillion to firms and companies.
If you think about the crystal ball and what's happening for firms, one of the things that I've seen in my 25 plus year career is the fact that the accountancy profession is relatively recession-proof, right? So during the pandemic, firms were worried that, oh my God, my clients are not going to call me anymore. I'm not going to be able to do advisory. Our clients were calling us even more frequently than they were before. And so as we come out of this, as we enter into this recessionary environment, maybe there's a slight softening of the growth that firms are able to see. But, 2008, recession-proof. Firms did just as well as they did years before. Going back to the early 90s, recession-proof, able to adapt and change inside of what we do. So as far as the profession, I think we're relatively safe coming out of a recession. I love coming to the IAB Forum and the awards. It's great to reconnect with old friends inside the association and network community.
Now, it's a real pleasure to be involved in this conference, to listen to my peers, to get insight about the things they care about.
Well, it's brilliant to be here today. There's such a buzz. It's the second time I've attended. Such a lot of people here chatting, wonderful to catch up with old friends, meet new people, and some really excellent presentations around the firms.
And actually, it's been great to be here in a room with senior leaders from accountancy firms from across the UK and internationally.
Thinking about things in a different way and having connections with people I can go and talk to. And that is so valuable, to be ready for change, to be innovative. So I think this event is fantastic, and I'd recommend it to anyone to be ready for the future and to be modern and to have all those skills which are going to be needed for them to be successful in their careers.